Revit Sheets Explained. Create sheets, title blocks, and place views. Hello, and welcome to our new video. Today we'll cover sheets in Revit, how to add them to a project, modify them, create new ones the way we want, and place the views we need on them. Let's get started. Sheets in Revit are the primary document type used for creating, organizing, and printing construction documentation, acting as containers for placing multiple views, schedules, and annotations. Think of the sheet as the paper itself, and the title block as the printed frame and information table on that paper. Before we start working with sheets, let's first get familiar with paper sizes. The dimensions of the A-series paper sizes are defined by the ISO 216 International Paper Size Standard. The A-series was adopted in Europe in the 19th century and is currently used all over the world, except in the USA and Canada. Each next format in the A-series is created by cutting the previous size in half along its longer side, while keeping the same aspect ratio. The most commonly used formats are A0, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, and A6. The Arch series is commonly used in North America because it better fits typical architectural drawing scales, making it easier to place views on sheets without wasting space. The formats are E, D, C, B, and A. For size E, there are also E1, E2, and E3. There are two ways to create a sheet. One way is to go to the View tab, then Sheet Composition, and click on Sheet. This opens the new sheet window. The second way, which we usually use, is in the project browser. Right-click the Sheets category and click New Sheet. This opens the same window as before. Here we can see which title block types are loaded into the project, in this case A1 metric. Since we do not want that size, we will load the desired one. We click Load and a new window opens. We need to load the title block we want from our library. Depending on which system you need, metric or Imperial, you choose the appropriate one. If we go to the English Imperial, US folder and open the title blocks folder, we can see the following 8 title blocks. However, since we want metric, we go back and choose the metric title blocks. We select the A3 format. Now it is also loaded into the project. We click OK and we have our first sheet. This is a default Autodesk title block provided with the Revit library. In the Properties panel, we can see the basic information about the sheet. When we look at the existing sheets in the project browser, we can see that our sheet is currently unnamed and has been assigned the number A101. You can rename and renumber sheets to match your project or office standards. We can do this in several ways. One option is to right-click on the sheet and choose Rename, which opens the sheet title dialog where we can edit the name and number. Here, we'll change the name to Floor. We can also edit the name directly on the title block itself. We'll click on it and add plans. The same change can also be done through the Properties panel. For example, here we'll remove the S. And then add it back so it reads Plans again. The same applies to the sheet number as well. We will also enter the project name. Let's set it as Family House. For the owner, we will enter John Smith. Since this is an Autodesk title block with their logo, let's modify it and customize it for ourselves. We click on the title block and go to Edit Family, which opens the Family Editor. We will delete the logo, the link, and the line. Now we will insert our own logo. We can use an image or a PDF. Now we will use a PDF. We sometimes use this when we want the logo to stay really sharp. PDF is inserted as an image and will not scale with view scale, which is exactly what we want for logos. We will drag and drop the PDF into the Family Editor. We choose the PDF resolution. We will select 300 dpi. We will scale it down a bit. Perfect. This works for us. Then, for example, let's say we don't need this table either. We will delete it. and the lines that were around it. Now let's load this back into the project. Overwrite. We can see the changes we made. If this format does not really work for you, you can also create your own from scratch. We go to File, then New, and choose Family. After that, we go to the Title Blocks folder, in this case metric, and select A3 metric. We get this frame with A3 dimensions, and now we will modify it according to our own requirements. First, we will draw the border. We will use the title block line style. We will set the offset to 25 mm on the left side and 5 mm on the other sides. This follows local drafting standards commonly used in our region. Next, we create the title block header. Height 35 mm, width 180 mm. Now we will split it in half. Next, we will draw a horizontal line with a height of 5 mm. Now we will copy it 2 more times. The next step is to add the labels. We go to Create, then Text. We will reduce the text size, go to Edit, Duplicate, rename it to 2.5 mm, and then set the text size to that value. Here we will enter the sheet title. Let's move it slightly. Then we'll copy this text to the next row and adjust its position. Now we'll change title to number. Next, we'll copy this to the following 2 rows and change the text to scale. Then date. We'll select these 3 texts, copy them to the left, and rename them again. First client name, then address, and finally project status. The next step is to assign an appropriate label to each of these entries. We'll start by adjusting the text size for the labels. First, let's set it to 5 mm. When we click where we want to place a label, the Edit Label window opens. Here we can see category parameters. These are built-in Revit parameters that automatically pull data from the project for use in families, such as sheets. We need sheet name, so we select it and click OK. Let's move the label slightly. Then adjust its alignment, horizontal to center, vertical to middle. Move it a little more if needed. Next, we'll create the second label and reduce its text size to 2.5 mm. We're looking for sheet number. Select it using the arrow, then click OK. Now we'll adjust its alignment, horizontal to left. We'll copy this label twice. For the label next to scale, open Edit Label, remove the existing parameter, and add the scale parameter. We'll set the display to 1 to 100. We'll do the same for date. Open Edit Label, remove the current parameter, and add a date parameter. You can choose either Project Issue Date, same date on all sheets, or Sheet Issue Date, can vary for each sheet. Next, we'll copy the existing label again. We'll align it roughly with the colons and adjust its position slightly. Now, open Edit Label and add client name. Then add project address and finally project status. The only thing left is the logo. We'll insert a PNG logo, resize it, and then add the project title. Setting the text size to 5 millimeters. We'll adjust its position slightly. Of course, you can add more elements if needed, depending on your office standards. Now, let's save the family. Name it A3 metric sheet and load it into the project. We can now replace the existing title block with the new one we just created. Let's fill in the project information. We notice the address doesn't fit, so we return to the Family Editor, expand the label, and reload it, choosing Overwrite. Now everything displays correctly. The scale will automatically populate once we place a view on the sheet. This was the metric example. Next, we'll go through an example using Imperial. Now we go to File, then New, and choose Family. Inside the English Imperial folder, we go to Title Blocks and select Size D. At first, we only see the outer lines. We start by drawing the frame. The left and bottom offsets are set to 9/16 of an inch. The right is 3 inches. And the top again 9/16 of an inch. Next, we add the sheet number label. Adjust its alignment, and set the text size to 1/2 inch. Then, we create a square border around it to make it look neat. After that, we write the text for sheet number. We copy this text, change it to scale, and add the corresponding label. We copy it again, change number to name, and add the label, adjusting its position. We adjust the text size to 3/8 of an inch. And set the alignment. Next, we copy and change it to issue notes. Then copy again and change it to date. We add the label project issue date and adjust the alignment. At the top, we write for planning and refine the placement. We copy again and change it to revision notes. Then add the parameters current revision and current revision date. And adjust the alignment. We copy again and change the text to project title. Add the project name label and adjust alignment. We copy 2 more times for address and client. Adding the correct labels. We refine all placements. Next, we add the logo. Resize it. And adjust its position. We still need name, so we place it and fine-tune the location. We add the remaining lines as needed. Of course, you can customize this to fit your own office standards. Finally, we save it and name it the Imperial sheet, then load it into the project. We make the necessary adjustments. And now it is ready. For now, we delete this title block from the project. Now, let's place views on the sheet. There are 2 ways to place a view. One way is to go to the View tab, click on View, and all available views will open so you can select the one you want, for example, Level 1. The other way, which we use more often, is drag and drop. We go to the desired view, in this case a floor plan, select it, and drag it onto the sheet. In the project browser, we can see that some views have a small blue square and some do not. If it is blue, this indicates that the view is already placed on a sheet. Next, we adjust the view. We activate Level 1 by double-clicking it. Then, we turn on the crop region and make the crop region visible. We can slightly reduce the size of the crop, move the view, and adjust the viewport. We do the same for level 2, moving it slightly as well. We can also turn off the visibility of the crop if we don't want it to show. Now let's add a new sheet. We can do this the same way we showed at the very beginning, or we can copy an existing sheet. We will rename it, change the sheet number, and call it Sections. Then, we will change the title block. Next, let's add the section views. Since they appear small on the sheet, we need to increase their scale. However, because we used View Template, the scale cannot be changed directly. So, we go into the template and uncheck the Include View Scale option, which allows us to adjust the scale independently. We choose 1 to 50. We make a few adjustments to align it properly. We do the same for the second section. That's it for today. Knowing how to create sheets, load and edit title blocks, and correctly place views ensures that your project documentation shows exactly what you want, stays well organized, and is ready for any future updates or printing. We hope this tutorial helps you improve your Revit workflow. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tutorials.